All right, it looks like we're live. Hello, everyone. I am here with my friend and partner, Dr. Shawn Talbott, to talk to you guys today about the mental edge for entrepreneurs. And if you've been following my stories and my feed, you know that this is a super hot topic for me right now specifically. And I got the man, oh, he's over that way. I got the man of mental fitness, mental edge, entrepreneurship, and all the things. So let me give you a proper introduction, Shawn. Dr. Shawn Talbott is the Chief Science Officer of Amare Global and the company I'm partnered with. And he has his PhD in psychonutrition. Correct me if I get anything wrong. Author, speaker, scientist, researcher, contributing so much to the world of nutrition and how we feel good and perform well and all the things. So what did I leave out there, Shawn?
No, that about covers it. I try to practice what I preach too, from a sports perspective, business perspective, all that kind of stuff. It's all about having it going on up here so that can fuel your physical performance. It can fuel your resilience. It can fuel your ability to get into flow and do your best work and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So there's so much to talk about, and we've talked before, so you guys can check out our other videos and all the things. But today I specifically want to talk about this idea of being a high-performing entrepreneur, because you also, what I'm super curious about, have a certificate in entrepreneurship from MIT.
Yeah. So I did a bunch of programs in entrepreneurship. Like I never wanted to really do, as a scientist, I never really wanted to do sort of like a traditional MBA kind of a program. And so MIT does this really cool. One program is called ACE, Advanced Certificate for Executives in blah 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 blah, all this entrepreneurship stuff. And they also have a really cool entrepreneurship development program, which is, I think it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. It's a pretty intense kind of a process. So what I was able to do there is just go in and get sort of like the juicy stuff, from a business perspective. And one of the things that I learned there is, which I think applies to what we're going to talk about today, is that the thing that kind of separates a successful entrepreneur from someone who's just beating their head against the wall is what I would sum up in the kind of work that I do as resilience, right? It's, people sometimes use the word pivot. You're going down a track, you think that this is the business you're building, and then you go, uh-oh. And like a successful pivot might take you in a completely different direction that you never planned on in the first place, but that's what becomes successful. And so you might do a bunch of different pivots, but in the kind of work that I do, like scientifically, not sort of business, that is resilience and the ability to sort of take it all in, let the what hits the fan, and then go, okay, now we're going this direction. Now we're going that direction. And that's different than stress management. It really is this idea of having your body be sort of like dynamic. You're able to like react in the situation to get the best level of performance out of yourself. And entrepreneurs have to do that day in and day out,
So you already answered my first question, which is what do successful entrepreneurs have in common? And
the ability to sort of lily pad, from one thing. And so what that doesn't mean is, it doesn't mean that you're always chasing the new shiny thing.
There's a feature to that, right?
Totally, right?
Yeah, so
but it's the ability to sort of surf with whatever is being served up and make the best of that situation. And so, the reason that I say that is because a lot of entrepreneurs, like a lot of athletes that I work with, think that the secret to success is working harder and buckling down and having more willpower. And because they think that, they sort of reach for things that are stimulants or energy drinks, or they think that they just need to go, and like more work is harder, and it's gonna be the solution. And that's not it at all, right? If you have better stress resilience, and the way that we measure this in the lab, when we measure stress resilience, we're measuring strategy formation, we're measuring the ability to solve problems, we're measuring creativity, right? So it's a lot that comes under that umbrella, so to speak, but it means that you're able to sort of, get the job done no matter what the sort of situation serves up.
Yeah, and there has to be some awareness of what the possibilities are and some flexibility in the method to get there, right? Because as a business owner, entrepreneur, high performer, and anybody in life, there's always these barriers and challenges we're going to come upon. And it's our ability to kind of size it up quickly. Yep. And change our behavior, change the situation, change the environment, change who we're working with, change, yep. some of the other things. So
yeah, I love exactly. And you actually just used the term flexibility. What we measure is something called cognitive flexibility. Mm-hmm. And it's that ability to pivot sort of in the moment, yeah. and that can make all the difference, whether it's the sports performance that you're trying to do or business performance, right? It's yeah. It's the same bucket of stuff.
Yeah, it's not that different. It's that ability to in the moment just shift gears. I kind of call it you're shifting gears, and you have yep. to be able to kind of do that in the moment and be willing to kind of let go of what you thought might happen to have something maybe even better happen.
Yep. Yep.
That's how I like to think about it.
Yep, exactly. And athletes that have it, will be able to describe it in ways that I think are applicable to an entrepreneur. It almost you can see something happening yeah. almost in slow motion when you're in this state where you can see the opening that you're going to go through. You can see where the ball's going to be passed. You can yeah. see when you're going to need to jump versus when you're going to need to pause. You can see it happen. You're almost looking a few seconds into the future. And that's what an entrepreneur wants, right? Yep. You want to be able to look and see that thing mm-hmm. before somebody else does, right? That's your opportunity. That's your opening to yeah. At MIT, they would say to us all the time, establish your beachhead. What is the beachhead that you are going to, where are you going to set up shop? What are you going to make yourself known for? And, yeah. at Amare, it's mental wellness. And
mental wellness. Yeah.
What we're talking about now is a slice of mental wellness.
So I love that because Hiptran, the CEO that's the head of our company, talks about predicting what people need before they need it, sort of. That's he just had this conversation about this. So let's dive in for a second about mental wellness is the next billion-dollar industry. And so
yeah, probably $1 trillion industry, to be perfectly honest with you, yeah. because it touches so many aspects of what people don't really realize is mental wellness, right? So we're talking about yeah. one part of that, stress resilience, but it's mental focus, it's energy, it's its ability to relax when you want to relax. So it's stress management and good sleep quality. And it really is a very all-encompassing thing. And once you get that dialed in, the mental wellness piece, there's so much ripple out from there that impacts physical health. So body weight and blood sugar levels and metabolism and cholesterol and cardiovascular and, aging. It all sort of follows from what we feel is that first nugget is the mental wellness piece. And great, if that's all you're here for is to feel better, awesome. But the side benefit is that you're going to be healthier in all these other ways too.
So I have a picture in my head of, there's an old movie, old meaning from the 80s, when there's a bunch of guys that are stockbrokers and they've got their Pepto-Bismol on their desk. Right. Can you picture that? So how far have we come, right? So what are top entrepreneurs doing now that isn't the Pepto-Bismol or the other antacid because they're just stressed out? We know there's this connection between the digestive system, gut, brain, all the things. So what are successful entrepreneurs doing now for the self-care piece that's allowing them to be successful?
Yeah, the ones who are really successful. If you look at some of the really top people in Silicon Valley, right? Silicon Valley a lot of times is, a year, 18 months ahead of, what's going to happen in the, the business centers on the East Coast, New York and Boston and, DC and places like that. And what a lot of those guys are doing, and it's not because and it's not just guys, right? It's, I say sort of guys in general, right? It's men, it's women, it's all the top performers out there. What they've realized is that it really is this sort of mind-body sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's not from the woo-woo perspective, right? People might look at it and go, ugh, it's these Californians. And of course they're going and doing meditation and yoga and all that kind of stuff, right? That's for them. That's probably not going to be for me. But what they've realized is that is actually where the science is, right? So you look at the research coming out of UCLA or UCSF, San Francisco, or or Stanford. Some of these West Coast schools are actually the leading places for gut-brain axis science. One of the leading scientists is actually on our scientific advisory board, Dr. Amare. He wrote the book.
I know. I have it right here.
About the gut-brain connection, right?
I have it right here. I've been showing it on all my Zoom calls lately. Like, this is the Bible here of gut-brain axis. And if you want to learn more, get started learning, like, start here. What I love also about this is that in the back, there's an index. So you can actually look up like autism or specific things and find the paragraph that he talks about that. So
Yep, exactly. So what they've sort of glommed onto out there is, yes, what happens in the gut affects what happens in the mind. What happens in the mind, what happens in it affects what happens in the whole rest of the body. But where they haven't gone to where the very leading science is to say, a lot of them are saying like, oh, it's all about meditation, it's all about yoga, it's all about relaxation, which are lovely. But if they realize what the newest science was actually saying was, hey, wait a minute, there's things we can do at the level of the bacteria here in your gut. And there's things we can do with the electrical activity of your heart. And there's things that we can do with your inflammatory cascade and with your immune system. And all of that can impact your mental wellness. And all of that can impact your physical health. So it's a really exciting time in science that we're able to say, yeah, this is important, but so is this, and so is this, and so is this, and so is this. And it gives people this huge menu of really cutting edge, scientifically validated approaches to say, yeah, let me try all of that. Or let me try, this one and this one will work for me, but not so much of that.
It's like a buffet a little bit. It's a little bit of a buffet. So let me ask you this. So you and I have talked about how kind of cleaning up your gut can change your cravings for certain foods.
Yeah.
Do you think it can change your cravings for meditation and exercise and like activity?
Yeah. We actually just showed that in one of our trials. Our objective of the trial was to get people to change their appetite for things like junk foods, right? So, change their microbiome. It would downgrade their stress eating. So they would be less inclined to eat cheeseburgers and chips and gummy bears and, junk like that, right? So we were able to show that. But what we also showed is that these people were also more inclined to want to sleep better. So they got better sleep quality. And we think that was because they were less stressed in the day. And because of that, they were able to relax easier at night. But what we also found is that they were more inclined to exercise. So these were people who we didn't give them an exercise regimen. In fact, we said, please don't exercise anymore during this trial. We just want to observe you and take some measurements. And we took microbiome measurements and saliva measurements and blood measurements and a whole bunch of different things. But what we found by the end of the 6 weeks is that people were almost subconsciously more physically active. And that's great. So they were eating better without a diet. They were moving more without an exercise program, and they were sleeping better without sort of a sleep regimen. And that's all because of what we were doing across this gut, heart, brain axis. And so it's almost for people like they're hitting the easy button, right? We all know we're supposed to exercise. We all know we're supposed to eat right. We all know we're supposed to get good sleep, but life gets in the way, and we don't. And so this is a way we can sort of put ourselves biochemically and therefore psychologically in the place where those things just sort of happen. They just become part of our lives because we're being driven that way biochemically.
Yeah. So some of the things you're touching on is mood, motivation, and metabolism, which, is in our new product that I've been talking all about, this new product, Edge, which I've named my joy juice. And so I think the timing couldn't be better because so here's my other term I'm coining is the COVID cocoon. We're like coming out of this COVID cocoon.
Coming out of it, finally.
We're coming out of the COVID cocoon. So what does it look like to come out of it? Like, how do we now get back into activity? And I know people have had various levels of activity over the last year. We're not here to talk about that, but when you think about getting back to activity, full-time school, traveling, all the things, how is this product really going to help us kind of rip out of this cocoon and get back to a full life?
Yeah. Dawn, you're right about the fact that it couldn't come at a better time. We've been working on this product for a long, long time. And it just so happens that it's coming out at this time when the world is also starting to open up and people are looking to go back out into the world. And you're going to want to look better, right? Because a lot of people, gain the COVID-15 or the COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it.
Yep. 25, 30.
Who's counting, right? But so there's that sort of metabolism piece of it, right? People are going to want to, get back into their fighting weight, so to speak. But then there's also just the mood and motivation piece of it are, like, you want to be in a good mood and you want to have that resilience that we just talked about. And you want to be able to have that sort of get up and go. That's the motivation piece. It's different than just energy. It really is a sort of whole mind body sort of we say motivation because that's what it is. It's a different piece of mood state. But man, wouldn't you want all of those things together? I've been joking around with people when we say mood, motivation, metabolism. The next thing that people say is, yes, please. And how quickly can I have that? All of those.
Well, you better get your order in quickly because their second order is about to run out. So I'm down to 1.5 canisters, and I said this morning I might actually hide a stash away from my family.
Yeah, you almost have to ration it a little bit because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to go away. But that the reason it took us so long to develop this is because we wanted to do it in a non-stimulant way, non-sugar way, right? Because like the standard way to do these kinds of things out there to give people that sort of jolt that they're looking for is sugar and caffeine. And we wanted to avoid that because what everybody gets after is the crash in some form or fashion, right? Yeah. So we wanted to avoid that.
It's a Band-Aid. That's a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid, but it actually puts you in a worse state than you were before. And so you slowly, people who do that on a regular basis, energy drinks, they get a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse over time. And every time you're getting a little bit worse, you need a little bit more of that thing to jack you back up again. So it is a losing proposition to go in that direction. This approach that we took, we have a really, really clean label approach. Mango leaf, lychee fruit, palm fruit, really, really, like, each of those are good for your health. They're good for your brain. They're good for your heart. They're good for your inflammation. They're anti-aging, right? They have all these wonderful benefits, but they've got this very noticeable functionality around mood, motivation, metabolism. So in a really clean label way, we can help you feel even better than those energy drinks and things like that are out there, and be doing something healthy for you at the same time. So like, you get the benefits now of feeling better, and you get the benefits of later of being healthier. Like, I mean, there couldn't be any better solution.
Yeah. I mean, do I look about 10 years younger than last time?
Right. I thought you got a new light.
There's no filter on my Zoom today, I promise. No, but I mean, some of the things my family is finding is, my daughter actually said she's taking better notes at school. Yeah. That was interesting. We're all sleeping better. She's waking up before her alarm clock, and she gets up at like 5:15 in the morning. It's crazy, these high school kids. We're just getting more done, like finishing a task. First of all, finishing a task, not just starting a bunch of tasks.
Yeah, and that's huge for people.
Yes, huge for people, starting what you finished. And then also like, all right, well, now what can I do next? Like really checking things off the list.
Right.
Yeah. And so my husband, he's a high school teacher. He's in his last like month and a half of school.
Yeah.
Like the grind, he calls it. And he's like, it's good. Yeah. The kids are fine, So just to have that lightness and ease, only from introducing this product, we haven't done anything else different.
Yep. Yeah. So, and that's a very common sort of a thing. Like people should be a little bit like what I refer to as an open-minded skeptic about this, right? You hear us talking about, my energy is better and I'm sleeping better and I'm getting more done and blah, blah, blah. Like, so some people would go, well, that can't be good for me. And yet it is, right? We're able to show the sort of anti-aging, anti-inflammatory benefits of these ingredients. So it is good for you. But they should also think like, well, that can't be right. You can't get all that in one product, right? But we were able to.
True. Yeah.
And you gotta try it. And then when people try it, they go, oh, that's what you were talking about. That's what resilience feels like. That's what motivation feels like. You almost have to experience it versus just hearing somebody explain it. Because like when you feel it in your body and mind, you go, oh, that's what I was missing. And to your point about sort of hiding a canister, once you experience it, you go, yeah, that's how I want to feel all the time. And that's how we should feel all the time, but our bodies are out of balance in these various ways. So this is really getting us back to where we should have been on our game in the first place before 2020 happened to us all,
Yeah. So back to perfect timing. Like we really are ready. We're hearing news from the CDC that we can really get out more, and people are getting vaccinated, and things are improving. Things are going in the right direction. So we're really happy about that. I want to start living life. I want to get on a plane again. I want to travel and see my friends. So this is a great product. It's a great time. It's a great product for high performers, entrepreneurs, moms. I've been saying like moms need this, athletes. Yep. And it's a great business opportunity because everybody's going to be talking about this. This is like the next wave of like the product everyone's talking about. So if you are looking for that extra stream of income, this is a great product to jump on board with because it's easy. There's no coaching involved. There's just like, here you go. Here you go. Feel good.
Right.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and it's ingredients people have heard of before, right? People are going to look at the side of that label, and I love how the label's been designed. With right on the side, it says mango leaf, lychee fruit, palm fruit. It's so people are like, of course I would try those. It's nothing, no chemicals, no weird things you can't pronounce. It's and it tastes really, really good too.
Yeah, and 0 calories. And let me ask you just one question because I know this question comes up. Lychee fruit. This is not a nut. Like vinegar is not tree nuts.
Right. So lychee is considered it has a pit inside of it, and so that pit is considered a tree nut. But we don't use that at all. We use just the fruit part of it. And so we use just the fruit part of it, and then from the fruit we just use something in it called a polyphenol, which is one of the things that really gets your metabolism going, fat burning, blood sugar control. Belly fat reduction, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. So anybody that has a tree nut allergy, this is safe.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Awesome, Dr. Shawn. Well, I will let you get back. I know you've got some busy stuff going on this week, so I will let you get back to work.
All right.
I so much appreciate you hopping on and giving our people some of this information. And if you have any more questions, just drop them in the comments and we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Great to see you, Dawn.
You too.
Bye-bye.